This is Lynn Birdwell with Birdhouse Productions, and I'm with our film commissioner, Rick Ferguson. So Rick, how long have we known each other? Since I started in 1993.
At least 30 years. I've been with the Film Commission since 1987, so a long time.
Tell us about the history of film quickly before we get started. Film production here in Houston.
Well, it's been an interesting evolution, and it sort of follows the pattern of the evolution of the industry, not only domestically but internationally. Certainly when I first started, it was before there was ever any concept of incentive programs. And for quite a while in the 90s, we were actually the most, had the most production in the state of Texas, and a lot of that was because of Movies of the Week. And then unfortunately, when the Movies of the Week, that whole concept started to dissipate, and what was left then started gravitating to Canada because of the incentive programs that Canada was offering. Then it created a whole new slate. It was a whole different equation. You had to go about cementing business in a completely different way. Before, it was everything that we had, which were locations, crew base, talent, cooperation, service, all of the above.
We've had a few mayors in the history that have supported film either privately or as a part of their administration. How do we stand now?
Certainly Mayor Turner has been extremely supportive. He has staff members that are, we're working with more closely than we ever have in the past. He is extremely interested in how the industry is developing. He is interested in film, though he is also interested in the entire spectrum of entertainment.
I think that film is probably the only art form that supports all the other art forms. So if we're going to have an entertainment or creative industry in Houston, it seems like film is a good starting point.
Absolutely it is. I agree 100%. Well, film makes use of all of the other aspects of the arts. And, but still having the synergy of a healthy, creative industry is extremely important.
Yeah. What's next for Houston?
What's next for Houston? Well, now that we have an incentive program that's been somewhat expanded upon, and we do have $50 million to work with for the next biennium, I'm hoping that that will improve our efforts to be able to bring projects into Houston. Not just, and I know most people are most interested in feature films, but that I think it will affect all of our categories of production, whether it's commercial or television series or feature films. All of them will benefit, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some great things in the future.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in a lot of states there are all kinds of things like tax credits that you have to deal with, and our state is just literally, I know I've done it, you mail in your receipts, you fill out the forms, they send you a check.
Well, and there's also something that no one seems to really talk about very much, because the other states are tax credits. Those tax credits have to be brokered. There are brokerage fees that go along in brokering those credits, and they can be anywhere from 7 to 10% of what's being brokered. That actually raises our level to where it's a much more evenly spread field. For some reason, that's not spoken about as much as it should, though I talk about it all the time.
It's a strong point. In Houston, do you feel like if we had more education for how to fund films, invest in projects, would that help?
It would certainly help. We do need to get more experienced kids, young people, into the crew base, into the talent base, because that's who we're going to be depending on in the future. I'm getting pretty old. There are a lot of our people in the industry that are getting older. We need to have new talent coming in at all times to take our place when we're gone, and to be able to keep us as competitive and make us even more competitive than we are now. For some reason, people just don't realize, I think Houston is really cool. I think there's great opportunities here, but I also think Houston is a great place to live. As these kids are getting out of school or gravitating to the industry, I hope they realize that not only is Houston affordable, not only has great opportunity, but it's also a really great place to establish your life. And we'd like to be able to keep them here.
I always tell people if they can't find a job in Houston, I'm not sure what to say to them.
Good point. Very good point.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate your time. Enjoy tonight.
Thank you very much. You enjoy tonight.